to Fresh Faces, No Ideas. My name is David. If you're new to the channel or you want to keep up to date with all the things I do, please like and subscribe. Or follow me on Twitter at FacesIdeas. Now, for this video, we're just going to go over Liz Cheney. Officially today, she has been removed from the party. We're going to go look into the... No, let me rephrase that. She's not been removed from the party yet. She's been removed from her position as number 3 in the House. They're still apparently looking for someone to run against her, and it will almost certainly be somebody whose platform is, I love Trump more. Now keep in mind who Liz Cheney is. She is the daughter of Dick Cheney. She is like as conservative as they come. The reason she's being ousted is because she did not agree with the big lie. That's it. And I'm going to show you quotes to that extent. So there's that difference there. But it's worth remembering. Also, on top of this, Liz Cheney has an 88%, I think, history of voting conservative. She also had like a 90% voting record with Donald Trump. And the potential person who is going to replace her, Lee Stefanik, is both less conservative and less equivalent to Donald Trump. But her qualification is she believes the big lie, or she promotes the big lie. She did it on Steve Bannon's show because somehow that's still a thing. So look, we're going to look into some of the quotes from the representatives. I believe it's Steve Scalise's quote, and I don't remember who has the other quote, but I think that one is more telling. Marjorie Taylor Greene has a quote, and Madison Cawthorn has a very adult response. But let's also be clear about the other thing. This is not a case of somebody who should just come over to the Democratic Party, because she does not have Democratic principles. She has conservative principles. The reason she is being ousted is not because she's not conservative enough. She's being ousted because she is not Trumpian enough. That's the difference. So this idea that you could rehabilitate her like they did with George W. Bush or people like that is not the answer. You need to look at the thing she actually stands for and say, look, you and Adam Kinzinger cleared the lowest bar imaginable. Not agreeing to the big lie is the lowest bar imaginable. What did it come to when you were giving tax cuts to trillionaires or billionaires, where you were helping put Trump's terrible legislation, when he was doing these type of things that were bad for the country? Well, you were silent during that, when he took money for the border wall, when he was backing the with the rise in anti-Semitism, with the rise in white supremacy, all of these things. Where were you then? And for Jeff Flake to speak out, it doesn't matter what you say, Jeff Flake. You're not in power anymore. You had the chance. You spoke out kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit, but then you went right along with the party line. So there's the difference. It's not she isn't conservative enough or she isn't doing what the party's bidding. It's she's not fealty to the Trump, and that's where the base is. And that's what needs to be remembered. She's not just being pushed out because the people in charge love Trump. It's their base of voters. Their largest voting bloc supports Donald Trump. So the party is going to be warped that way. So if she wants to come to work with Democrats, she has to work on their policies, to push those policies, not to push the conservative policies, because that's what the Democratic Party is. They're not a conservative party. And if she wants to split away, which apparently there's some 100 Republicans who are apparently going to split away to try to create their own party where it's not fealty to Trump, good luck with that. I seriously mean that. I'm not one of those people who believes that we need to have a healthy Republican Party. In its current iteration, the healthy Republican Party would be people like Joe Manchin. That's what's a healthy Republican Party for this country. Not whatever is currently happening and not what Liz Cheney represents. It's worth remembering, while they are currently negotiating now, they have said over and over again their mission is to stop every single thing the Biden administration did. Liz Cheney, like every other Republican, twice in the House, had the option to help you, if you're in Wyoming, with the chance to get relief. If you received any relief from this administration, from the American Rescue Plan, Liz Cheney did not want you to have it. Every single Republican did not want you to have it. So let's take a look at what's going on there in this party, okay? So they voted to oust her. So they voted to oust her by a voice vote, which is something that just, like, if you think about it, is so cowardly. So the first time they tried to remove her from leadership, they had a secret ballot, so they don't know who voted for what. And she won like 2-1 or something. So in a voice vote, it's basically who yells loudest, and then I guess whichever team I hear is loudest is that. It's just cowardly. I mean, at least with the secret ballot, you can actually put we know where all of them stand. By doing a voice vote, you're just being more and more cowardly. You're just saying, you know what? We don't even want to pretend to put our names to this. We just want to go with it. So now let's look at this article. Representative Brian Donalds. I'm going to talk about that. Where's the Steve Scalise quote? Steve Scalise. It's not about right or wrong. It's about the focus of our conference and focusing on pushing back on the agenda that's being pushed by the Biden administration. Liz Cheney agrees with this. The only thing she and Steve Scalise don't agree on, well, Steve Scalise is more of a white supremacist, is that the election was not stolen. And this is, let's go back to this. This quote is unbelievable. He casually explained that Cheney has to go because she contradicted a core point of party doctrine. If you had a member of the Democratic leadership and said they didn't believe in climate change anymore, do you think they would still remain in Democratic leadership? I don't think so. So that's what the parallel here is. Let's be clear. If there was a person in Democratic leadership who didn't believe in climate change, they should not be in Democratic leadership anymore. You know why? Because climate change is a real and existential threat, and there is data purporting that that is a thing, and by stopping it, you're causing death and destruction, and you're causing the planet to become less hospitable for the future. Versus the Republican side, where they're saying, look, if you don't believe in our lie, that the election wasn't fair, and that we should have the ability to overturn elections in the future, which is part of the Georgia bill, and what is part of what the Republicans are pushing is this idea that on January 6th, after every election, if your party doesn't certify the votes because of partisan reasons, then you don't have then the election didn't happen. That's what happened. That's what they're pushing for. So that's where they're drawing the line. Well, do you believe in science and facts, or do you believe our lies? And if you don't believe our lies, you don't belong here. That is an unbelievable quote. This quote I'm going to keep and I'm going to bring up all the time. This is like the biggest dagger I've ever seen. I can't believe somebody with a brain uttered these words. Okay, so then, so apparently, like I said, this is what she said. The nation needs a party that's committed to the fundamental principles of conservative. I'm committed, dedicated to ensuring that that's how this party goes forward, and I plan to lead the fight to do that. Look, there's a chance Liz Cheney runs for president in 2024. She would get obliterated. There is no place in the Republican Party for somebody like Liz Cheney. And it's not because she's a woman or she's an establishment figure. It's because she does not bend the knee, and that's where the base is. Now, this is an interesting quote. I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets near the Oval Office. We have seen the danger that he continues to provoke with his language. We've seen his lack of commitment and dedication to the Constitution. I think it's very important we make sure whoever we elect is somebody who will be faithful to the Constitution. Look, I'd be very interested. If she actually tries to do this, I would hope it'd be something more effective than the Lincoln Project, who ultimately ended up being grifters, and I don't know where the case stands with it, but I'm pretty sure they were protecting a child pedophile or sexual assault, something. But they were not effective at all. Like, they did studies on it, and the Lincoln Project was not effective. So this is Trump's response. The Republicans in the House of Representatives have a great opportunity to rid themselves of a poor leader, a major Democrat talking point, a warmonger, and a person who absolutely has no personality or heart. So, a poor leader, it's worth remembering Donald Trump came into the office with the White House, the House, and the Senate. Currently, they've lost all of those in basically one full presidential election cycle. For a warmonger, to be fair, Donald Trump didn't actually start a war. He didn't really end them either. He also increased bombing, like on in the Middle East, like by massive margins, with massive civilian casualties. But they're brown people, so it doesn't matter. And look, personality is not a driver. I mean, it is because of how our politics are a show, but that's not the issue. So let's look at Madison Cawthorn. So Madison Cawthorn, reminder, is literally a child. He's actually younger than I am. He's the youngest person ever elected to Congress. He just squeaked in. He turned 25 right before he was elected. Madison Cawthorn is also lied basically about everything in his life. He lied about his accident. He lied about him being accepted into the Naval Academy, and he lied about the pending, the multiple accusations of sexual assault that he has against him. His response is, nah, hey, goodbye. So the last time I heard this from a representative was in 2017, when the Republican Party, in their first attempt at user reconciliation, the House passed their repeal version of Obamacare. And that was what the Democrats chanted at them. Now he is saying this, goodbye. But I'm sorry, Madison. I know you're kind of an idiot because your whole job there is literally just propaganda. That's why you have a larger communication staff than you do a legislative staff. She's not actually gone. She's still your colleague. I'm pretty sure she still ranks higher than you by the fact that you're a freshman representative. But this is who the Republican Party. There's a reason when I refer to the Republican Party, I refer to people like Cawthorn, like Boebert, like Green, like Gates, because they're the talking heads that are the future. These are all the freshman ones, except for Gates, who's been there for a couple of years, who are pushing the way the party is going. That's where they sit. Also, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene. I voted a second time to remove Liz Cheney as the chair of the GOP. I stand alongside 74 million plus Trump supporters. So this is interesting. She's actually admitting that he only got 74 million votes instead of 82 million or however many they believe he got. Trump supporters opposing Cheney's Trump derangements. She does not have Trump derangement syndrome. What she has is somebody who is not lying to herself and lying to the American people. Now let's wrap this up. So, look, is Liz Cheney a politician that should be rehabilitated? Probably not. Is she somebody who's this great hero who stood up and stuck to her guns? Yeah, she actually did stick to her guns. The problem is the thing she stood up for and pushed was the lowest bar possible. When you judge somebody based on their actions for something like standing up to Trump, you have to look at the totality of it. Did you oppose all the awful things that he did? Or did you oppose most of the awful things he did? Where was the line for you? The line for Liz Cheney was the lowest bar possible. Our election happened, it was fair, and he tried to steal it. He's also responsible for the insurrection that happened. Lowest bar possible. It's the same thing, and people during the Trump administration, do you admit Donald Trump was a racist? No. It's the same thing. The GOP has decided that lies are their future because that's what the people who they represent want. And that's why they push for those things. Now, please, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter @FacesIdeas, and I will see you in the next one.